Well, thanks so much for allowing us to come to your studio and have a chat together.
Cool.
Really appreciate it. Super nice to meet you and get a chance to hang out. I'm just wondering, like, I'm trying to think of different ways to ask you questions because so many people have asked you so many questions and you're probably a little bit, bored of it in a sense.
Yeah, well, I think what's interesting about this is what usually I talk about my career and what I do, whereas this is more about how we are, I guess.
Yeah, in a sense. That being said, though, like, it's such a, you're such an inspiration to so many people.
Thank you.
So it's important to kind of understand that a little bit before we dive into the other stuff. As a child, did you dream that, like, oh, someday I want to be like a huge star, Was that like something you wanted to do from a kid?
No, when I was a kid, I wasn't really that into music as a kid. I mean, I played instruments, but it was more art was my thing. And then I think when I picked up, like, I wasn't a very popular kid at all. And I went to high school and picked up a guitar, and then suddenly I started, like, making friends, getting girlfriends, playing in bands, and kind of like having fun like that. And I kind of saw it as a, like, oh God, this is quite, and it made me feel good. And I just decided I wanted to do it as a job. I didn't expect I'd be where I am now, but I was kind of like, I think I want to play music as my job, and, like, I don't care if that's being, I did like wedding band stuff for a while, and that paid the rent and stuff, and, like, I essentially just wanted to play music as a job, and then it turned into this. It kind of, like, snowballed, and I'm like, at definitely some point in that trajectory, I started, like, aiming for things and working harder to get those things. But I think essentially it was just, being 11 and seeing Eric Clapton on TV and being like, that looks cool. But it wasn't like age 4, I was like, I want to be famous.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone that wants to be famous ends up being famous. And sometimes when they do, they're like, oh, this isn't as fun as I thought it would be.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was kind of like a natural progression. You were just like, I love making music. I'm just going to keep making music. And then at a certain point, once you realize, like, oh, I'm kind of good at this. Maybe I can do something.
Yeah, I mean, it's weird. Like, most things in the entertainment industry, I think, kind of happen. I think people always say it's luck, and I think luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So it's basically if you work hard enough to, like, better yourself and make you good, and the opportunity comes, you're good enough to be elevated to the next level. So I think, for me, it was just, I just loved what I did, and I worked really hard at it because I loved what I did, and then suddenly an opportunity would come up and I could be good enough to take it by the horns and let it take me wherever.
And when you started to make those, like, like you said, there was a certain point where you started to make goals and think, like, oh, maybe I do want to, be in a bigger stadium or whatever it is. What did it feel like when you actually, like, achieved that?
It sounds weird saying it, but you don't really feel anything, and that's what I think makes it so weird. You kind of get to Wembley, and because it's what you aim for, and then you get there and you finish it, and you're like, well, what do I do now? Like, it's a weird. You'd think it would be an aha, this is it, I've made it, oh my God, but it's such a weird feeling. It's like I think especially in this industry, no one's ever really satisfied. Like, even you don't learn anything from your achievements. You learn everything from your failures, and I think that there's, it's a weird one. It's a weird one. Like, I learned more playing in a room to one person in Exeter when no one came to my gig in 2009 than I did playing Wembley Stadium for 4 nights. It's a weird one.
Yeah, there's an interesting, we were talking about Jim Carrey earlier, and it reminded me, it was like, Jim Carrey said something like he wishes everybody could be like super famous and have everything, so they realize like there's something more to life. That's not what life is all about.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, I had reached that point after tour, because I mean, it's quite heavily publicised, but the tour that I did was like, it had broken loads of milestones and achieved all these things. And I remember the last day of tour, we played in my hometown, like 40,000 people, and all my friends and family came down, and then it ended, and then the day afterwards it was literally that moment of like, well, I know that's never going to happen again, and like I know it's just a weird thing. So that's why when I watched that Jim Carrey thing, I took up painting for a month, because I was like, I should probably try and find something else to give me happiness than music, because music is it's a weird thing when you feel like you've achieved everything you can achieve. So yeah, I bought 30 canvases, and I painted a canvas a day for 30 days, and it was really fun.
How'd that feel? Like, just any specific style of painting that you do, or you just get in front of a canvas and just whatever happens, you go with it, or?
No, I guess it's kind of Jackson Pollocky. I bought house paint, and then I would just layer it up by flicking it, and I'll show you some of it. It's cool, but I just, you know what, I finished tour, and then I was like, I should probably have some time off from music and blah blah blah, and so I was like, I'm just not going to touch an instrument for a month. And then I kind of got 2 days into it, and I was like, fuck, like music is my hobby, and now I'm not doing my hobby, which means I'm not doing anything. I should find something else that I can do in life that brings me happiness, that isn't something that is my work, you know. So that's why I did painting, because there's only so many movies you can watch and packets of Monster Munch you can eat, you know.
Well, what is it? Monster what?
Monster Munch. I'll give you a packet. It's great.
Okay, cool.
It's really good.
What are some of the biggest things that you feel like you had to overcome? Like, did you get to points when you were like kind of coming up in the music world where you were getting turned down, or where, like, you know, you were trying and you got this feeling that you weren't kind of good enough, and, you know, did you have some big like hurdles, or was everything kind of smooth for you?
My hurdles weren't anything like that, because as I said, I think you learn a lot from failure and rejection, and I think it only made me stronger as a person and as an artist. So being turned down by record labels just made me go, well, fuck it, I'll do it myself then, and made me work harder in the studio. And like, I think all of that was actually quite a good thing. I think that the hurdles that came were the ones that everyone sort of brushes over, because when you have success and you find money, everyone goes, must be great for you, and that is what is not great, because you then just get people being fucking weird with you, because they just assume that everything's all right. And I had, like, you know, family members turn weird, and friends fall out with me, and people like stealing, and money is such a weird fucking thing, because it doesn't, as the Jim Carrey thing, I think it's not the key to happiness, and it causes so many problems if you have it. Like, it's such a weird thing to talk about, because whenever I have ever brought it up with a friend, they go, don't be silly, it's fine, you're fine. And it's it's a weird thing. Like, fame is an enhancer, but for everyone else's insecurities, and it basically directs it all towards you, because they, like, I don't know, people like look at you differently, like people that you'd been friends with for years. Like, the amount of people I don't speak to anymore just because it just fucking turned weird. And also there'd be people caught in the crossfire of that as well, that maybe weren't weird, that I ended up just stopping speaking to because I got weird because everyone else was weird. And it's an odd thing. But then again, I'll be talking on something like this, someone will watch it, and I guarantee someone will be like, it's all right for him. And it's a weird one. Yeah. Yeah,
but it's so awesome, you know, that you're sharing this kind of stuff, and to talk to you about it, you know, because I feel like in my own life and so many people that I know as well, like, you know, we tend to put happiness in the future. You know, we tend to put happiness like, if I achieve that goal, then I'll be happy.
Yeah.
If I get that job, then I'll be happy. If I have that relationship, then I'll be happy, you know? It's like putting it out of the present in a way, like putting it in the future.
Yeah.
And then when, you know, talk to somebody like you who's achieved, you know, the top of everything basically that you can achieve in music.
Well, it made me realise that actually you are right, that happiness should be in the here and now. Like all of my... I didn't start in the industry to sell out Wembley Stadium and have an album go platinum or have a number one single. But when you're in the industry and these things start happening, you start being like, oh, maybe this is what I should do. And then you start setting your goals and being like, I should do this and do that. And I think now, getting to the point of the tour and then it just all ending and then suddenly being kind of left with the reality of like being like, fuck, maybe that's not going to happen again. I think you would start focusing on the, you know, oh, maybe today I'm going to do this and that'll make me happy, and then, or maybe tomorrow I'm going to do this, rather than like, if I make this happen, this will make me happy. If that makes sense.
Yeah, it makes total sense.
Yeah.
And it's such an important thing, you know, for people to realize, I think, that we can just be happy, you know, without needing to achieve, you know, super high goals that society puts on us, or our families, or our friends.
Yeah, and I think, you know, I think like health is also something we take for granted. Like it's one of those things, like whenever I get ill, I suddenly don't remember what it felt like to be healthy. You know, one of those things where you get like a cold and you're like, fuck, I can't remember what it's like to not have a cold. And you start to really appreciate just being around, like living here and seeing nature and seeing, like, we are fucking lucky to be just around and experiencing things, I think.
Yeah, it's such a beautiful thing. I saw you did, like, I think it was last year, you did some stuff with Prince Harry in terms of like mental health issues and stuff like that. Have you like had times in your life where you've went through anxiety or depression, or, you know, I read something online that said that you struggled with social anxiety a little bit, for example.
Yeah, I mean, I've had bouts of everything. I mean, I think the lowest I've ever been was like 2015, but that was kind of like, but that was like lots of things. I think if it's all down to, for me, it was down to like bad diet, drinking, and then not seeing sunlight at all. So I was touring. Oh, and I wasn't exercising. Exercise, I think, is a really fucking important thing to keep people happy. But I was touring. And I would stay up and drink all night, and then sleep on the buses would park underneath arenas, and I'd sleep on the bus all day, and then wake up, and then come out, do the show, drink, get back on the bus, and I didn't see sunlight for maybe 4 months, and it's all fun and games at the start, and it's all rock and roll, and it's fun, and then it starts getting just sad. So I think that was probably the lowest that I've been, and I kind of ballooned in weight and just wasn't healthy.
How did it feel? Like, when you say it's the lowest you've been, what did you actually feel, you know? Like, did you wake up and feel a little bit sad, or were you feeling anxious, or was your mind kind of going all over the place and it was hard to focus, or?
I guess I kind of felt, was it all, what was the point? Not in a dark, well, I guess in a dark way, yeah. You're kind of like, why am I around? Like, what is the point? But yeah, as I said, it's I met, I've known Cherry for a while, but we rekindled our friendship, and then started dating, and then she exercises a lot, so I started going on runs with her. She eats quite healthily, so I started eating quite healthily with her. She doesn't drink that much, so I wasn't drinking that, and I think it all, that all changed things. But from the anxiety point of view, I remember the first time I had a panic attack, and I remember one of my friends has really bad anxiety, and he used to have panic attacks, and I was like, fuck man, that must be really, really fucking hard. And I was on a plane from Alicante, or maybe it was Ibiza. I was on holiday with all my mates, and I had to fly back to shoot a TV show. And I got on it, and this was peak Thinking Out Loud had been really big, and it was the peak fame of the second album. And I got on the plane on my own with 300 boys who were on a lads trip, and I just remember just having this fucking weird episode, this kind of weird panic attack, and then getting off the plane and being like, oh god, that was weird. And then ever since then, been happening more and more in those sort of public situations, which is weird because my job is to play to big crowds, but it's different when I very much get it when I'm close to lots of people. Like I don't really get it when it's I would get it on like the tube or I guess planes, supermarkets, like anywhere where there's lots of people, I think. Yeah. And it's a weird paranoia in me of assuming that everyone's going to be horrible when usually people are nice.
Does it start with like, because for myself, for example, when I was younger, like I overdosed on cocaine, and another time, you know, I was stung by a wasp, and I basically died, you know, in the hospital. I had to be brought back to life from adrenaline, and I had panic attacks for like 15 years, like on a weekly or monthly basis.
Do you think cocaine triggers that though? Because I feel like drugs nowadays really can send people in, like especially here. There's been lots of suicides of people that have big booze and coke binges and then get this massive crash and then they end up committing suicide. Do you think that triggers some of the social anxiety?
Well, for me, for sure, you know, but it was also the fact that I was like dead. So like all of it together. I haven't done coke since then. This is like, you know, 15 years ago or something when this happened. But definitely it can trigger it, for sure. And for me, like I even notice sometimes coffee can trigger it because it's a stimulant, you know. And if you're not like a totally kind of calm and grounded person, and you take stimulants all the time, it kind of can spin you out, you know. And cocaine is an extreme of that. But when you say you like have social anxiety and things like that, do you feel like it coming up, or do the thoughts just kind of go like crazy, or what's like what happens for you? Because so many people have different explanations of that kind of thing, you know.
I don't really know. It kind of I don't really know how to describe it. It's just one of those things you just like, get me the fuck out of here right now.
And that's what you do you just kind of leave the situation?
No, because Cherry's good with it. Like sometimes Cherry will be like, cool, yeah, we'll leave. But sometimes I am just being paranoid. So like we went away for our wedding anniversary, and we sat in this restaurant in Venice. And I remember as soon as I got in, I was like, get me the fuck out of here. And she was just like, no one's fucking looking at you. No one wants anything. It's just old people. They're chilling. They're having their coffees. And then after 5 minutes, everything does calm, and I was like, okay, yeah, actually that was probably good. So sometimes it's just me being me, but yeah, but sometimes it's not.
So you feel like you mentioned some key things. I think you feel like changing your diet, drinking less, eating healthy, changing your diet,
and I think
exercise, like
everything in moderation, I think is the key. Because I'm very much, I mean, I'm covered in tattoos, and I kind of don't do things by half. So if I'm going to drink, I kind of see no point in having a glass of wine. I'd rather have like 2 bottles of wine. And I think like having a glass of wine is having something in moderation, and probably isn't going to affect your day the next day. But 2 bottles of wine probably might make you quite sad the next day, or like having a burger. And like they used to call me two dinner teddy, because I used to order 2 meals and eat that, and then you start putting on loads of weight, and then you start hating the way you look, and then you start like getting sad about that. And I think basically everything in moderation. Exercise can really help, just because there's loads of health benefits anyway, but also loads of just cosmetic benefits, as in you feel better, but also you start looking better. And when you look better, you're looking in the mirror and being like, oh, maybe I don't hate myself today. You know, like there's I think so. I think that, and I think, eating healthy food makes you feel great. And when you feel great, it's all part and parcel of the same thing. But I also think, I mean, we were talking about this earlier, I think nature is a very important part of feeling okay. All of this time I was living in London, and London's quite grey, and it's quite full on, and like there's always something happening, there's always something on, and you're always like switched on. And I feel like, you know, like lots of people live in London, but I think maybe on like weekends try and find a park somewhere and go for a walk, or like there's like I think nature's a good thing to remind us like life is good, and like there are beautiful things in the world, I think.
Yeah.
I sound so hippie saying this, but I think it's like it really does help.
Yeah, I think the connection to nature is a super important thing. You know, we made this documentary for the last 4 years, and one of the common threads from like all the kind of older, wise, indigenous people from different cultures in the world that we talked to, that we found was this connection to nature. You know, these, whether it was someone in Peru living in the jungle, or you know, nuns that we studied meditation with in the Himalayas of Nepal. You know, something about this peaceful state and nature is like inherent.
we are animals at the end of the day. I mean, like, we're not meant to live in concrete. We are meant to live in nature. Like, we created concrete and we created offices. Like, you are meant to. We're foragers, aren't we? We go and hunt and live in tribes and fields and deserts and whatever. And we are meant to be outside most of the time, as animals. So I think that's definitely a factor in why people have mental health issues, is that this isn't what we're meant to do. This isn't what human beings as an organism are meant to be programmed to do. We're meant to be, it's a very recent thing as well. It's only really the last sort of like 200-300 years that this has started happening, you know.
And even now, more so, if we think about like being in nature as kind of like a connection in a sense, like we're connecting with some kind of aspect of ourselves by being in nature, you know, because it's kind of where we come from.
Yeah.
But if we look at now also like social media, for example, it feels like it disconnects us even further. You know, I mean, how do you feel, you know, with having such a big following and such a big impact in the social media world? How do you feel social media affects you personally?
Social media is a weird one because it is my job to be on it and to keep up with the times and appeal to younger generations, but it's such a weird thing. Like, I was on my phone probably 19 hours of the day in 2015 and before that. Just constantly just flicking, posting. And it wasn't till the tour ended in 2015 where I was like, you know what, I'm just going to try and live without my phone for a bit. There wasn't a like, oh, I need to get away from social media because it makes me sad kind of thing. But I was just like, oh, I just want to get away from my phone for a bit. I had like 1,500 contacts on my phone and people were texting the whole time, and it just felt a lot of like responsibility to either reply or meet up with them. And I was just like, you know what, let me just get rid of it for a bit. And I'm going to enjoy my time off. I'm going to go traveling for a bit. And for like the first month, I was like, fuck, it just felt like a massive weight had been lifted. I was like, it seems stupid saying it, but I was at dinner with Cherry and actually talking to her, not being like, oh yeah, what? And I was like, oh, that's actually quite cool. Maybe I'll just carry on not having a phone. And then when I got back to releasing Divide and had to be back on social media, I got an iPad. And then went straight back to flicking, and you know, I was in cars waiting for interviews and flicking, and I'm on planes and I'm flicking, and it's just this constant connection to stuff that isn't here and now. And so when the tour ended, I just was like, fuck it, I don't need it anymore. I think I'm probably of an age where I'm probably now beyond the like, I don't think I'm going to get the youth back kind of thing, because I'm getting into my 30s, and it's not like 16-year-old people are going to relate to me next time I release an album kind of thing, you know. So I was like, it's not like I need to be on it anymore. I can just have someone post it. And not having it, you realise, I was always on it being like, well, what if I miss something? What if this is going on? What if my friends are doing this? And I haven't been on it for 3 months now, and I haven't missed a fucking thing, anything. Like, if something important happens, a friend will call or email and be like, hey, this is happening, or like, I've done this, and you're like I've spoken to Sophie now, and she's like, I'm engaged. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Rather than seeing something on social media and just being like, okay, cool, and flicking through it, there's no like connection to it. So being off it has been really good. And I'm not saying people have to be off it, because I think there's some elements of it that are quite, Cherry follows a lot of like National Geographic stuff, and she loves seeing animal stuff. I think there are elements of social media that are really great, but I think the bad things about social media are the unrealistic expectations that people have on life because of it. Because people only post positive things they're doing, and so therefore you're going to be like, oh fuck, why are they doing that? And then it gives you resentment towards that person, and then it makes you feel shit about yourself because you're not doing what they're doing, and when really they're only posting that because they feel sad and they want to post something to make people that they think that they're happier. And it's like the selfie thing. Like when people post selfies, I look at it and be like, man, that they must have had a shit day today, because they want to put up a picture of them looking good for someone to be like, oh, you look good, for them to feel happier. And I always feel sad when I see that, because it's them. I used to do not so much selfies, but I used to do the same thing. Like I spoke to actually a friend of mine the other day who's in the music industry. He's a bit younger than me, and he was like, I had to get rid of social media for a bit because it ruined my day that a photo of mine got 3 million likes and not 4 million likes. And I was like, that's fucking crazy. That like, and he said it floored him for the day. He was just like, what have I done? Like what? You know, it's kind of it's a crazy world of social media. And what's mad is, I sound so old saying this now, but back in my day, but back when I was a teenager, we didn't have it. We had MSN, instant messenger, that you were kind of allowed to go on for like an hour a day, and then you'd fill your time doing things. We'd go to the skate park, or we'd go and try a cigarette for the first time, or we'd like, you know, set off fireworks, and you know, you do just stupid kid shit. But nowadays, like I know friends who have 8-year-old kids that have an iPhone 11, and are just constantly on social media, and I just think it's really dangerous for kids, because also you stop being creative. I stop being creative when I'm on my phone. So when I come in the studio, I completely get rid of any laptop or email or anything, so you can focus. It's a distraction. And if there's an 8-year-old kid that in their spare moments wants to go on TikTok and not paint a macaroni glue picture, it is going to start affecting the way that people are in the future.
Yeah, I think the data and the research isn't even out yet. We haven't had it long enough to understand actually what's happening.
Mate, it's literally been 10 years. I mean, when I first started it in the industry, Twitter was like kind of coming in, but it was only really musicians that used Twitter, and it was more of a like self-promotional tool rather than a everyday life kind of thing. So yeah, it's really been 10 years, and I think it's I don't want to sound preachy though. I don't want to be in this interview being all like, sure, you should do this because I'm doing this. I'm just saying what has made me happier is less of that. And you don't need it. You really don't need it. It's not, I was kind of glued to things like Instagram and Facebook and YouTube and stuff because thinking I like needed it in my life because it's just a part of life now, but we didn't need it 15 years ago and we don't need it now. And I've had 3 months off it and not noticed anything different other than I'm not wasting hours of my day looking at pointless shit on the internet.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think another big thing that I think is super interesting that I heard you say is kind of how you were an all or nothing, or you were at some point an all or nothing kind of guy.
No, I'm still that, but I think, I have a very addictive personality. Very, very addictive personality. And it's weird I'm reading Elton John's book at the moment, and there's so many things that he did that I do, like he would be like, I would just go on like an ice cream binge and eat 4 fucking desserts until I threw up, and I was like, oh, I've done that before. or like his like martini binges where he sees how many martinis he can drink, and I'm like, I've done that before too. And there's like loads of and in that, as I said earlier, in that book, he ends up getting really fucking sad and depressed, and all of these things can add to that. And I think with addiction, it's very hard to moderate, but moderation is the key, I think. But I think things like sugar, sweet stuff, junk food, cocaine, alcohol, it's all things that like, it feels good the more you do, but it's like it's the worst thing for you, I think.
And especially with you, like being, because a lot of times I hear people say that they can't do certain things to improve themselves because they don't have the time, or they're too stretched out, And then I think and that might be somebody that's just working a normal kind of 9-to-5 job. But as you are like, must be surrounded by so many people all the time, and you get requests for interviews, I don't know how many on a daily basis, and so much opportunity and so many cool things and not cool things. How do you like kind of find that balance in that, like what did it take for you to learn how to say no and to kind of protect yourself and set boundaries in a sense?
Well, I think for me, if something, I kind of see things as like radiators and drains, and if something radiates goodness towards me and makes me feel good, I'll do it, and if something's draining, I'll cut it out. And I think that's with people as well. I think like people are either radiators or drains, aren't they? Like Sophie is a radiator of good energy. You hang around with Sophie, you feel better, and there's some people you hang around with and it's just constant, just it doesn't. And I think having a focus on making your life just full of good shit, I think helps, and also just making the time. I get up an hour earlier now than I used to go for a run, and I just sleep less, but I go for a run and feel better. It's just, or maybe don't spend the last hour of your day flicking through Instagram. Maybe another good thing is putting your phone in on charge outside of your bedroom, so you're not waking up and going straight on it and then going to bed and being on it and then going to sleep. It's good to wake up and sort of like come to life in the morning and be like, oh cool, now I'm going to go downstairs and make breakfast and blah blah blah, and then maybe if you're going to do emails and stuff, that's when you do it, rather than having this constant connection to something. And
something that's also kind of unique with you in a sense is that you write a lot of your own music, most of it. Do you feel like that connection to writing is kind of therapeutic in a sense?
Absolutely, yeah. I think I've never had a therapist, and I have a lot of friends that do go to therapy, and I kind of think that the reason I've never done it is because I kind of talk about all the shit that's in my head in a song. I'll have something happen to me which will make me really sad, and I'll be like, I'll write a song about it, and then when I finish the song, I'll feel really happy because I'll be like, oh, I've got a song, and that song came out of this really shit situation. And then you look at the shit situation and you go, I'm glad that happened, and because you've got a song out of it. And it's so that's what I think creativity can do to help sort of make people happier. And I think I always like, music's obviously a skill that you have to learn, or like you have to at least like learn chords and stuff, but stuff like art is not like, you just get a box of paints and a piece of paper and just fucking go for it, and I guarantee you'll feel happier than you did before you did. I mean, you might get to the end of it and be like, oh, that's shit, but when you're doing it, it's so enjoyable, and you don't need to go to art school for that. So yeah, I think creativity is very good for making people happy, because at the end of it, you've got something that didn't exist 10 minutes ago. I think that's a good thing.
So like when you're gonna write music or create music, do you kind of like feel it coming in a sense, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna go write now, or do you sit down sometimes with an intention of like, okay, I'm gonna write a song today?
It's weird. I mean, the songs that connect with people the most, songs like Bloodstream or Perfect or Don't or Thinking Out Loud, like all my biggest songs were ones where you basically imagine your emotions like a volcano, and you're like, so many things have happened to you, and you're just like, oh, I just have to fucking write a song. I just have to write a song. Whereas some of the other songs, I'll go into a studio and be like, right, I kind of want to write a song about this sort of subject today, and then I'll start that and I'll do the chords and I'll produce it up. So there's definitely a mix. Like yesterday, I was in the studio and I wrote a song that was just like a happy, feel-good tune that, there was no need to write it, but it made me feel good doing it. But the songs that have been the biggest are the ones that needed to be written, I think, for me to feel better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really cool. And it was super cool to also hear just that, like, you didn't start out in music to try to become something, because you feel like a lot of people start out in things, and as soon as they start, they want to be at the top, which is like a recipe for failure, because very few people get to do that, So the fact that you just made music because you just wanted to make music.
Yeah, well, I don't think there's anyone who's ever had success in anything that it starts at you have to start at the bottom of everything, and to start at the bottom of something, you have to have a love for it. Otherwise, you're just at the bottom and being like, this sucks. But when I started at the bottom, I enjoyed every part of it. I loved the shows. I mean, sometimes it made me sad that there was nowhere to sleep or I wasn't making any money or blah, 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 but I still fucking loved every part of it. And therefore you work harder and therefore you get bigger. If you go in to the industry and you're like, or any industry, and you're just like, I want to be the top now. I've got to make it happen. One, it's not going to happen, and two, you're probably in it for the wrong reasons, and also you're probably not going to enjoy it that much. I think the journey is the fun part. As I said, I mean, like the top, you get to Wembley and you're like, what's next? And it's once you've, it was so much fun getting to that point that, yeah, I think it's good to, start off and work hard. And I don't think people end up having the success that they want if they don't do that. Yeah.
And this year is kind of like a break for you, so to speak, right? You're kind of taking some time off. How did you feel like, I just needed to take a break, or does taking a break from music sometimes help you, get inspiration again? Or
I think so. I mean, for me, I think there was lots of different elements of why I did it. I released a record last summer that it wasn't really an album, but it was like a record, and it's like you can kind of sense when the public are like, we've had enough for now. And it happened on Multiply as well, my second album, that I put out a repackage of that after it got big and put out a new single, and you can kind of sense the public are like, we've kind of had enough. And I think that's one of the important things in the industry, is to know when to give not only yourself a break, but give the public a break, because if you're releasing shit all the time, you're constantly on radio and you're constantly on TV and you're constantly in magazines being interviewed and constantly there's a certain point where it's oversaturation and people are like, I'm good, and then you can't really get back from that. So it's good to, when you sense that, to kind of pull yourself back. But also, I just got married to Cherry. We now live here in Suffolk, and I kind of like, what was I working for? Like, why would I carry on working as hard and not enjoying any of it? Like, even people that work normal jobs or whatever will still go on holiday and still go and do these things and still have their weekends and relax, and I hadn't really done any of that. So I was like, I would like to just live at home. And I still, what I do is, I'm not actually on a break. I still work 9 to 5 every day. I go to the studio, I get up, I go for a run or do some training or some swimming or some boxing, and then I go to the studio for like 9:30, 10, and I work till 6, and then I come home, I have dinner, we might watch a movie, we might just chat, we might hang out with the cats, we might have a friend round and do something, and then at the weekends we go out and do whatever. I've been going to football games, which is really fun, and so yeah, I've been basically trying to have a normal life by going, essentially treating my job as if it's a job, and going and actually having a 9 to 5 structure and giving myself weekends, and we go on like the odd holiday here and there. And I think it's nice just to live normally, because it's such a weird existence living on tour, because your life is on pause and nothing really happens, because you're just in this world where you're just on tour and you're playing these shows, but everything else goes on around you. So you'll come back home and life has moved forward 3 years, and it's I just wanted to get recalibrated with my life, basically.
It's awesome, man. I'm glad you're getting some time to
it's
chill a little bit.
It's cool. It's really, really nice just doing normal shit. Doing normal shit. And also, man, the drinking thing. The drinking thing is, when you're on tour, every day's a party, because every day there'll be a new person in the town that you're visiting that you haven't seen for a while. Like when I go to Manchester, I see Sophie, and when I'm in Glasgow, I see my mate Graham, and there's always a new person in town. So every day you're drinking, and it becomes normal to be like, after a show, have a beer, maybe a bottle of vodka. It just turns into an everyday thing. But when you're at home, it's not normal to drink every day. It's normal to drink on a Friday or Saturday. So that, again, gives my life moderation, because it's weird if I drink a bottle of wine on a Tuesday night. I did actually do that yesterday, but we had a...
But it wasn't Tuesday.
What was the day yesterday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. Wednesday. On a Wednesday night, yeah, it wasn't Tuesday. No, but I had an American friend visiting who just left today because of that coronavirus, but yeah, so that was an exception.
So just in closing, just kind of want to leave it to you. If like I told you, the idea we share with you of what the summit is about and the people that it's going to reach. Do you have anything that you like to share or leave everyone with? That's just something that maybe you've wanted to say but you haven't had the chance to say?
Yeah, I think friends are very important, and you'd be very surprised of who goes through the same thing as you. So talk to them. Like, it's not weird to be like, I feel sad today, and yeah, I think it's not. You need to trust that your friends and family love you, and that you're not being a burden by seeking out a bit of comfort every now and then. And if their reaction is negative, then they're not your family and friends, and they're the drains that you should cut out of your life. You just need positive people around you. Yeah, I don't know if that's the best advice, but I think my best advice I could give is do exercise. And exercise is so simple. Just fucking run around the park or walk places, walk up escalators if you're on the tube rather than just standing still. Like, just move a bit, get a Fitbit or whatever, Diet as well, I think, is key. I think we all love junk food, but junk food can make you sad. I think there's shit that they put in it as well, like stuff that's in meat that we're not really meant to eat that makes us sad. So yeah, watch what you eat. A salad is not something to be scared of. I used to just see a salad on a plate and be like, why is that there? Fuck that. So yeah, just eat well, exercise, talk to people. Talking is a great thing, and find something creative to do. Like, you don't have to be a fucking expert at something to enjoy something. Like, I don't sell my art. I just do my art, and I love doing it. It's something that makes me happy, that no one else needs to judge. Like, there's no part of the creative process if you're not. People judge my music because I'm trying to sell it to them, but like, if there's no part of a creative process that people judge if you're just doing it for yourself. So yeah, I think try and find something creative, and it might be something really stupid, like finding some Lego figures and making a stop motion animation on your phone, like something like that you can spend an afternoon doing. That's like not going to change the world, but it might just make you feel a bit happier. So yeah, I think creativity is an amazing thing to make people happy, because you basically can achieve something without trying. You just kind of like do it, and it's fun.
Yeah, man. Well, thanks so much for the chat, and
thank you,
and thanks for being such an inspiration, and
thanks for
keep going.
Thanks
and
for coming down here. I hope
cool.
This helps in some way. But yeah.